Oh, let me get you all back. I lost you here for a second. Wrong one. There you are. Hello. Chris, why didn't you bicycle over here today? You just have to put your helmet so the hail won't hit you. Good to see you. We're having a bit of a thunderstorm here today. Almost got washed out. Danny was brave enough to make it, though not with her bicycle. We'll let the thunder do a lot of the teaching today. Our subject today is what you and I can do in time of war, and I don't only mean the one in the news. I mean also sometimes in our lives and everything. And it's going to be a positive message too. I hope it's helpful to a lot of folks. We'll get to that later. In the meantime, Onkai is here. Onkai, give a wave. Onkai is our Eno today. Very good. She's been practicing and is all set. In case the thunder and lightning do knock us out today, Bjorn will carry you through, so you can do without us here. But in the meantime, if you've been here before, and by the way, Asian, long time no see, good to see you here. If you've been here before, you know what to do. If it's your first time, just follow along.
The heart of the perfection of great wisdom, Sutra. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, awaken one of compassion in Prajnaparamita, the deep practice of perfect wisdom. Perceive the emptiness of all five conditions and was free of suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is precisely emptiness, emptiness precisely form. Sensations, perceptions, formations, and consciousness are also like this. O Shariputra, all things are expressions of emptiness, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, neither waxing nor waning. Thus emptiness is not form, not sensation, nor perception, not formation, nor consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, nor object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, no end to ignorance, no old age and death, no cessation of old age and death, no suffering, nor cause or end to suffering, no path, no wisdom, and no gain, no gain. Thus bodhisattvas live this prajnaparamita with no hindrance of mind, no hindrance, therefore no fear, far beyond all delusion. Nirvana is already here, all past, present, and future Buddhas live this prajnaparamita and realize supreme and complete enlightenment. Therefore know that prajnaparamita is the sacred mantra, the luminous mantra, the supreme mantra, the incomparable mantra, by which all suffering is clear. This is no other than truth. Therefore set forth the prajnaparamita mantra. Set forth this mantra and proclaim Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisoaka, Anya Shingyo. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reciting the Heart of the Perfection of Great Wisdom Sutra, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni, Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, and to those ancestral teachers, Eihei Dogen, Honored One, Soji Keizan, Honored One, all successive Honored Ones up until Zuigaku Rempo, Honored One, and Gudo Wafu, Honored One, and to all other Honored Ones throughout history, same yet diverse Honored Ones whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. We also dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, To all awakened ones and teachers in all places and times, we especially seek tranquility and well-being for all creatures now suffering or ill in health. May they be serene through all their ills. May their lives be at peace and wisdom pervade the darkness of ignorance. We dedicate our hopes and aspirations to all victims of war and violence and natural events, to the injured and to all families touched by these tragedies, to the healing of hatred in all countries and among all peoples, to the wisdom and compassion of our world leaders, to the peace of the world and harmony of all beings. Thus let the harmful effects of words, thoughts, and actions be dispelled, and compassion bloom in perpetual spring. May we all realize and live the enlightened way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, maha prajna paramita.
Zazen. Inhale. we'll have Zazen and a little talk. Can everybody hear? Shoot me a peace sign if you can hear. Peace, man. Some of us actually remember the 60s, even if I was 5 years old. Our topic today is what you and I can do in times of war. And I don't mean only the constant war after war that seems to be in the news these days. I also mean the wars in our own lives, in our own families sometimes. I'm going to be talking about the wars in the world, but the basic point, I hope, also applies to any struggles we face in life with our health, with people we love sometimes, our own struggles. Some people say that I barely can be concerned with what's happening on the other side of the world for all that I'm facing, and it's true too, but if you hear me, I hope we can cover it all with the same vision of wisdom and compassion. In any case, you may have heard that there are wars going on around the world. What can we do as Buddhist practitioners? One of the things we do is we don't quite react to things in the same way as I would say, other folks. Even ourselves, before we began this way. When you've taken this path, our way of encountering these things is what I like to say, crazy wise, a little bit different. Now, I'm not saying that we don't feel the same way about things as before. We do, but yet we don't. I'm not going to tell you you should feel happy about reading about all the sadness in the world, or afraid sometimes. You should. It's human to be afraid and to be sad. But we also know something more. You see, when there's violence in the world, sometimes the best thing we can do is not react only with anger and fear. And yet when we're human, we're always human, but being human, will sometimes react with anger, fear, sadness. There's a way in this path that we don't fall into that trap as much, and we see through it too. I like to say that when we see people fighting in the world, it's a little bit like now we witness them like, how to say, grown-ups looking at children fighting on the playground over toys. Now, unfortunately, these toys seem to be bullets and bombs, but the principle holds the same. We calmly do not join in their fight. We do not think who is right and wrong. We try to stop the fight. We see through it, see how ridiculous it is. Madness, in fact. And we calmly try to stop the fighting. Some people in this world do violence because they want us to be provoked. They want us to become angry. When we become angry, we make it worse. It's like pouring gasoline on fire when what we need to do is pour cooling waters. So the best we can, we try not to fall into the anger. Sometimes when we witness these things, of course, it's so real, there are people suffering, but we also know it as Buddhists as something like, well, there's something more to it, like we're watching a theater show. We realize that there is something beyond life and death and birth and violence, the killer and the killed. We have this wisdom in our hearts. We can see that there's more to it. And yet in this world, we should still do what we can to bring peace. So as Buddhists, we see and encounter these things from many sides, you see. Stop the violence, and yet we know a peaceful place where there's no violence at all. Now, I'm talking very theoretically here in my safe little neighborhood on the other side of the world from any war zone right now. And I have people write me from places like Ukraine or Israel this week, asking how they should feel. Sometimes they say, is it okay we defend ourselves? Is it okay we feel violence? Who's right? Who's wrong? And I can only preach to them from my calm place. Theoretically, I'm not there. I joked with my Ukrainian friends. I said, oh, is that still going on? I thought we moved on to the next war now. But unfortunately, it's still going on. So what I said is, well, most Buddhists say you need to defend yourself sometimes, but you try to do so as best you can without falling into anger, as if you're a doctor who sometimes has to cause pain, but you regret it and you just do what you have to do. But don't make it worse by adding to the anger if you can. And I know it's so hard because it's your family on the line. It's your house that's in the war zone being bombed. I'm just telling you that as best you can, avoid the violence, even when you have to defend yourself, and try not to fall into anger. That's what I tell them. At least that's what I hope. But what can we, who are not there, actually do to solve the war in this world? It seems very little. The usual things, we can march, we can write letters. We try not to argue who's right and who's wrong, because those arguments never end. We just believe the violence is wrong. The hurting children is wrong. The hurting civilians is wrong. Any killing is wrong. I don't care who's doing it. So I'm against the violence. I'm not against either side. That's not politics to me. It's what the precepts tell me. We should avoid the violence, the hate, the killing. But what can we do as individuals? I've heard someone say, one person can't do anything. So just take care of your own life. And sometimes we have to, as I said, we have people who are struggling now with their own illnesses, their own crisis in their own family, barely have energy for anything else. And that's to be excused. You have a lot on your plate right now. That's fine. But if you can, what can we do? What can one person do? Well, I answer that one person may not do much, but when one person joins with 100 other people, or 1,000 other people, or 10,000 other people, then you have a movement. Then you have some social power. Then you have a voice that's louder that can be heard. So maybe join with others in collective action, working for peace. And you can still do a few things. This is my little thing. There's a mosque that's about 5 minutes from my house here in Tsukuba. Has a couple of hundred Islamic members who live in Tsukuba. And there's an imam. And it's not going to change the world, but whenever these things happen, the war in Iraq, I always go over there. I see the imam, he knows me, I know him. I say, I'm very sorry. Not about who's right, who's wrong. I said, I'm very sorry that this is happening. We should live together. The children should be safe. Everybody should have a home. And everyone deserves a peaceful home. Everyone should live in peace. And he looks at me and he goes, yes, that's what we feel too. And I shake his hand and I go home. And at least maybe some people in the mosque, they see me. They think, and I say I'm a Buddhist priest, I'm of Jewish heritage, I'm from America. Maybe they think that some people care. Does that change anything? Would that change the world? No, but maybe here in Tsukuba, it changes something, I don't know. Somebody thinks that somebody cares. I don't say who's right, who's wrong. I don't care, as I said, I'm against the violence, and hurting the children is wrong. Hurting civilians is wrong. What else can we do? We can keep working and hoping that the world gets better. We can keep dreaming. As many of you know, I am next month, I'll have a new book where I proposed a crazy dream. And it's crazy. The big problem so far, if you ask me, the reason that we're still doing this as we've done for 10,000 years, 100,000 years, is human nature. So I said to myself, is there a way that I can get, people say we need to change our violent human nature. We're too selfish. We don't feel love and empathy for each other. Back in the 60s, man, that's what we were talking about, feel love, but human nature never changes. So I said, is there a way to get people to want to change their human nature? Not force them, want to change their human nature. Is there a way to respect individual free choice and rights and volition and have people want to change? And so I came up with a crazy idea and I propose it in the book, and some people are going to like it and other people are not going to, and I don't care because we have to do something. So anyway, that's enough of a plug for my book. You can read it and agree or disagree. At least I'm trying to come up with some crazy idea because we have to get past this, and we will. If we're to survive, we've got to get past this, and we will. And the two last things I want to say to you that you can do is do small things in your neighborhood, in your family. If you make kindness right in front of you, even if it's not going to change the world, you're not going to make peace in the Middle East, you're not going to persuade uh, anybody of anything in that situation, but in your own neighborhood, in your own family, yes, be peaceful, bring peace. Who knows the effects? It's like swirling, what is it? Ripples on the lake. What you do will move on and on. Your good thing that you do will touch the next person and the next. Just like if you do anger or violence right now, it's really going to ripple out too. Do the opposite. So do the small things. Even if it has nothing to do with the war, just be kind. Do our law, lend a hand, something like that. Anything is helping, is an extra bit of peace in the ocean of the world. And the last thing we do is we sit Zazen, for the obvious reason that we begin with peace in our hearts, and we move on from there. So today is a cloudy and stormy day here in Scuba, and I have to go on faith because I cannot see it, but I know that the clear sky is still there. The thunder, the clouds, which sound like bombs, they don't scare me because I know the quiet, the stillness, the boundless sky is still there. And this is where we sit in Zazen. Let us sit. We will now recite the verse of atonement and the 4 vows.
All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable.
Well, lovely, lovely. Still raining here, still thundering. But we're going to have tea if anyone wants to stick around. Otherwise, the rest of everyone, if as you go through life this week, I wish you a peaceful way to all of you. And we'll see you later. But the rest of you stick around. We're going to have tea if you want. So see you guys later. You do this. Okay. Then I do the other thing. There you go. You have to go, Danny?